It's National Police Week, and thousands of Americans and families of the fallen gathered in D.C. to honor and remember. This law enforcement memorial was built in our capital back in 1991. It was meant to last until the year 2100, but now room is already being added for more names to be etched in due to the sheer number of American officers dying on the job. This week meant to honor them, as well as another group of American officers who are often forgotten, those who served and are now permanently disabled. One of them, Chicago Detective Sergeant Joaquin Mendoza, was on the force for 22 years. And when COVID hit, he said his city needed him. Before vaccines were available and as many of his colleagues caught COVID and died, he kept working. He caught the virus on the job, spent 2 months in the hospital, and suffered 5 strokes. He survived, but then had a new and unexpected battle waiting for him, this time over duty disability benefits and health coverage. And he's not alone.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a police officer?
Yes, since I was little.
For Detective Sergeant Joaquin Mendoza, the dream started when an officer came to speak at school.
When I got home that day, first thing my mom asked is like, "Hey, so what do you want to be when you grow up for career?" I'm like, "Oh, I want to be a big Irish cop." And my mom was, "Well, the Irish part ain't happening because, your dad and I are Mexican. Our dad, Joaquin, and our mom, Susanna."
Look how glamorous they are.
Yeah. Study hard and you do well in school and you're a good kid, then maybe you'll get the chance to be a police officer. So I looked out and getting my dream job.
As a Chicago police detective sergeant for 22 years, he worked on some of the grisliest crimes.
These 2 offenders are somebody from this neighborhood.
I'm very glad of all the people I put behind bars.
Helping to solve the murder of Leticia Barrera, a pregnant mother who was shot and killed in front of her house on Halloween Day while holding her little girl's hand.
If I only did one thing in my entire life was to put this guy in a joint, that made my entire career. Getting the hugs from that little girl.
Then the pandemic hit.
You can take a break.
And as a first responder, at the end of a 17-day stretch and a 16-hour day, he wasn't feeling well and took a nap.
I thought I'd only slept for a couple hours.
He slept for 48 hours straight. He was rushed to the hospital where he waged a war with COVID for 72 days. Multiple strokes, loss of function in both kidneys and his left arm.
How many strokes did you suffer?
5. A bunch of my, partners ended up passing away from it.
Forever changed. Dialysis 3 times a week, neurological issues, a shortened life expectancy. He no longer lives independently. When he went before the city's police disability board, they ruled he did not qualify for line of duty disability benefits because he could not prove the precise moment when or how he contracted the virus, even though he had worked a 17-day stretch and had been nowhere else except home alone. A no ruling also meant no health care coverage.
What did you feel? What
Panic. Panic. I mean, it's basically crippling.
Detective Sergeant Mendoza says another Chicago officer who was denied ended his life.
I was going through the checklist of what's going to keep me from eating my gun.
From eating your gun?
Yeah, completely. And I knew I had my sister, my mom, my nephew, my immediate family, my partners. As I'm going by checklist. Those are the things that kept me from killing myself.
Detective Sergeant Mendoza's sister, Illinois Comptroller Susanna Mendoza, took up her brother's fight.
Seem like he's your Superman, and then see all the struggles that he goes through on a daily basis. It's super emotional.
She helped push through a change to Illinois legislation.
When you see a problem, you have to fix it. And if no one's going to fix it for me, then I'm going to fix it myself.
To make sure no first responder in Chicago would experience what her brother went through. It passed unanimously and bipartisanly 54-0, and just maybe can be a framework for other states.
My brother said, if it had to happen to me, so that none of my guys have to go through this, then I'd have it happen to me all over again. But that tells you who my brother is. The love that he has for his profession, they're willing to die for people they've never even met.
I'm the older brother, so I always want to be protective of her. And, I tell you, as messed up as it was that I got COVID, as bad as I did, I don't regret a second of it happening. I'm the luckiest man in the world.
And joining us now is Chicago Detective Sergeant Joaquin Mendoza himself, along with his sister, State Comptroller Susana Mendoza. Welcome, both of you. It is so good to see you. And Joaquin, I want to start with you because there were literally thousands of viewer comments that came in after you and I met and we did your story on NewsNation. Joaquin, what do you want to say to all of those people who reached out, giving you their support, saying, we see you, we thank you?
I can never thank all those good thoughts and well wishes from all your viewers. Those and the prayers that all my partners and friends did are what got me through.
Susana, you fought this incredible fight for your brother and all officers in Illinois. And I know you're also tracking this happening to officers in other states. NewsNation also telling the story of Officer Omaira Feliciano, and she served with the NYPD for 17 and a half years in the Special Victims Unit. During the pandemic, she was tasked with coming face to face with 40 to 50 sex offenders every single day until she got sick. She was diagnosed with COVID pneumonia following this unrelenting body pain, deep fatigue, a completely debilitating autoimmune disease after that. It's changed her whole life. She has been denied duty disability, and this is going before a judge soon. Comptroller, your thoughts tonight?
Well, I'm of course praying for her and hoping for the best. It's absolutely tragic that any of our officers or first responders would be treated in this way. It should be criminal, frankly. But I am hopeful that just the way we were able to help not just my brother, but as you mentioned, many other police officers in the city of Chicago, as well as firefighters in the city of Chicago who were being denied, that her case is resolved favorably for her.
Yeah.
It is the best way to say thank you for her service after so many years and putting her life on the line.
And I know that you have personally offered to help Officer Feliciano in any way. I appreciate that so much. Joaquin, back over to you. I know that there are significant health challenges, but you have a major positive life update for us surrounding your independence. What can you tell us?
Well, I just recently was able to move out of my sister's place. And for most of your viewers, I had been living independently since I was 17 years old. And I absolutely adore my sister, but having to live with her, there's no way for somebody like myself not to feel like they're a burden. But I know that I'm not to my sister.
Never.
Because if the roles were reversed, it would be the exact same thing. I wouldn't want her being with anybody other than myself. But it's great to be able to get my independence again. And I really miss my sister, but it's great walking around the house just in your underwear. Nobody around, so.
You even have our floor director, Gary, laughing there with that comment. Detective Sergeant Joaquin Mendoza and Comptroller Susana Mendoza, what a pleasure to see you both again. Thank you so much, and thank you for continuing to shine a light on this.
Natasha, can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
Just a quick update. Just recently, the Illinois legislature amended the act that we passed that allowed my brother and other officers and police and firefighters to get their benefits for COVID by extending the deadline of qualifying for this benefit from June 30th of 2021 to January 31st of 2022. So covers basically everybody who fell in this category in Chicago. And I'm glad that they were able to revisit it again it was like a week or two ago. So very happy about that newest development.
Thank you so much for that update. It's so important.
Love you, bro.
Thank you both. Thank you both.
Natasha, thank you so much for shining light on on this injustice, because there was very few people that, as police, that we can count on taking our backs. And I can't thank you enough for what you shine a light on my story and on everybody else's story. So thank you very much.
You're going to make me emotional. I got your 6. I got your 6. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of our men and women in law enforcement. I love you. Please stay safe and get home after your watch safely.
All right. Thank you both. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.